Welcome to Channel AMAC, your insight to the Australian visa system. Good day everyone, my name is Gao Yang, your online YouTube visa consultant. Are you interested about migrating to Australia? Why don't you consider to subscribe to my channel and turn on the bell on the side, sponsor all the updates and news. You'll be the first one getting all the insight. Now today's video, we would like to go across the Tasman Sea. There's a news came out from New Zealand where the tightening of immigration policy continues. So it's not just Australia. We have seen what's happening in UK, what's happening in Canada, Australia, now New Zealand. So it's a global phenomenon. It's a post-pandemic phenomenon. It's something that it's just like inflation. We just cannot really, the world just cannot really contain. Now, how would this continue to affect all the regulations and policies? It may, if we're looking into inflations, one thing that we know is that all the rental prices, all the property assets rises, increases its value and increases its costs. Okay, so it means things are getting harder to buy. You need to spend more money to actually buy a property or assets. Same thing happening in immigration as well. So if you're looking into immigration policies around the world, it's getting harder to actually get into or migrate to a particular country because the bar is getting higher, just like the inflation is getting higher as well. Although the world, the globally international, corporation looking into, putting the inflation down. I just saw the news about the Fed in US. It looks like they're not gonna drop any interest rate because the inflation cannot be contained. It's still up in 3 to 3.5%. Anyway, let's see what news came from across Tasman Sea. So New Zealand tightens visa rules amid unsustainable migration. Now, didn't we just, that's pretty familiar of what we have seen so far, and that's happening in Canada and UK as well. They tighten the rule, they cut the annual quota and things like that. So with New Zealand last year alone, they have the record 173,000 arrivals. Migrants. Now, didn't we, Australia is the 6th largest continent in the world, only got about 190,000. Well, that was the target for 2023 and 24. I don't think they will meet it anyway. But New Zealand, it's much smaller country compared to Australia. They have accepted 173,000. Well, when was that? That was last year. That's huge. Okay, the population wise in New Zealand is only about 4 mil, I believe. Now Australia is like 25 million. Now compare that. Anyway, so what's happening is that they gotta, for the low skill applicant for the employment sponsor work visa in New Zealand, they gotta fulfill English requirement, and they have dropped the years of working visa from 5 to 3. So again, look, first of all, I am not familiar in regards to detail of the New Zealand migration policies, but as you can see, what the trend is actually moving towards. So what's happening now is that all the people around the world is actually moving into, well, they are finding a better destination location for living. And the first preferential places will be the English-speaking countries, so USA, UK, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. Now, we see the phenomenon is that every of these countries is closing, well, not close the entire door, but they're tightening the rules of migration. So that's gonna be the trend, and we can see what's happening with the migration strategy that was announced last year. So basically all the criteria has been pushed up. The only thing that the good thing about Australia is that they have allowed the short short-term skill occupation lists to be allowed to have a pathway to permanent residency. So really excited to actually see what's going to happen in later year when they actually announce the skills in demand visa, which is another category on top of the current 482 visa. Whether or not it's going to be the same as what they have done for the genuine student requirement to replace GTE, which nothing really changed. But I think employment sponsored visa, there will be some change. I think there will major change to push up the economy and productivity anyway. Okay, now that's one of the news. The other one I wanted to twist towards another sort of aspect is the international education. So as we have provided a lot of information in regards to the international education industry in Australia, where there has been 11 university has been downgraded, with more than hundreds of colleges has been downgraded. By means their risk level is higher. Now, what does it mean for risk level is higher? Risk level higher means if you apply those colleges or you apply those universities, it's more likely have a chances that your visa will actually be rejected. So that has a major effect. Now that effect has already taken place. So let's have a look at this news. Came out from ABC. The Tertiary Education Union calls for Federation University. Now remember, Federation University, well, they were the one of that 11 university they've been downgraded. They are actually currently at level 3. Okay, so what's happening? So the union is calling for Federation University's leader to resign. What? Why? Because they are putting in a redundancy plan. Redundancy plan for what? They are asking a lot of staff to leave. Why? Because what's happening after COVID, and plus the new policy in regards to the risk level with the genuine student requirement, that there has been 49, it's almost half, 50% drop of their revenue, and that's 79 million. That's a lot of people. So they're going to cut the cost about 200 staff redundant. Now that's a lot. Now obviously there's going to be a fight between the unions and the university. Now that is not the tale that I wanted to talk to all of you today, but let's have a look what is happening. So this is a sign that one university is suffering, and they are putting in a major media and putting in a major redundancy plan. That's gonna cause a major effect throughout the entire international education industry in Australia. So what's gonna happen next is that all the university, all the colleges, when they assess or admit international students, it's gonna be extremely hard. Now, since I posted a video, I've received numbers of emails from friends and fans and viewers. They have already received or recently receiving student visa refusals. So again, you gotta be very careful, not just to listen to an education agent in regards to, oh, this program is cheap, you can study and you can migrate and things like that. Sometimes it may sound too good to be true, and it is true that it's too good to be true. So it's not really like that. So we gotta be extremely careful in regards to what courses that you pick and what university or what colleges you actually picked in order to actually launch this student visa application. So we are only at the starting point. It looks like the next few months or plus, maybe years, they'll have major effect taking place. Anyway, should you have more question, query, more than welcome to leave comment right down below, and I'll see you next video. Goodbye.